going live on Radio Jar. I can't go live on Radio Jar, so I'm just gonna go ahead. It's not clicking for some reason. Okay, we're live. Here we go.
I'm Mike.
I'm Keith.
I'm Matt.
I'm JT.
And I'm Vic.
And
We are the Dream Home Experts.
Come visit us at thedreamhomeexperts.com.
Welcome back to the Dream Home Experts. You're listening to us here at 216 The Net, produced by Megatone Studios at 216 Creation Studios. Sponsored by Lindsay Bennett at Beard & Warner. Lindsay sells the burbs. Welcome back to the Dream Home Experts, Season 5. I'm Mike.
I'm Keith with the Smoking Good Boys.
I'm Mac.
I'm JT.
I'm Ashley.
And I'm Vic.
So, we're back on Season 5. Welcome, everybody. We
Hello,
are
everybody.
Hello.
going to talk about Expert Home Solutions today.
What about Expert Home Solutions? What do we want to know?
Wait, who's Expert Home Solutions?
Expert Home Solutions is the new premier plumbing, heating, cooling, indoor air quality, and electrical company in the Chicago suburbs, northern and western suburbs.
You know what? I knew that, but I really wanted to hear you say it.
I know.
Wow.
That was good too.
Wow.
So, Mac is my partner in Expert Home Solutions, and so is Ashley. So, we,
We're having some technical
yeah,
difficulties.
sorry. So, Expert Home Solutions just was created at the beginning of this year, out of Gold Shield Services, and Mac has background. What kind of background do you have, Mac?
Well, where do you want to start? Majority of my background comes from the distribution side of things. Working with contractors and dealers in the industry, that was my life pretty much for 8 years, both in New York and here in the Chicagoland area. I worked for one of the biggest distributors of train equipment. And then in 2021, I made the decision to switch and actually become a dealer. And it's been a great success so far.
Yeah.
Enjoying it to the fullest.
Awesome. And Ashley, my other partner,
Yes.
tell us
Well,
about yourself.
a little bit about me. I've been working in accounting. That's really where my whole interest of career has been. I've been working in accounting in construction specifically since 2006. So that's something like 17 years or.
Something like that.
That's awesome.
So, and I mean, I started as secretary, but then within a month I was promoted to be in payroll and accounts payable and everything, and went through pretty much every role in the office and worked my way up over the years to where I am now here with you guys, and it seriously has been a dream.
We're excited as well.
Yeah. Thank
What do you think are our biggest goals here for Expert Home Solutions?
Become the biggest and the best HVAC, electrical, plumbing company there is in the Chicagoland area. I know that we've discussed what we want to leave behind. For us, it's especially, the three of us and the team that we have is to leave a footprint, become a legacy that when people look at it, be like, hey, I know the people that did that in this area. And that's, to me, the best feeling that you could have. So that's the whole excitement and the hunger to strive for, as far as we want to be the to-go guys for everything.
Awesome. And Keith has also joined us in the venture of Expert
No.
Home Solutions
No.
as our lead service manager on the plumbing end.
Yes, yes, and it's been fun. It's been fun. It's also been chaotic. It's been hectic. It's been a very interesting winter. Just because obviously we were coming into a slow season, and obviously the change of things and whatnot, and now we're with this fantastic 80-degree weather we're having in the last week and a half. Now we're getting busy, so it's been fun. And you know what? And I'm very excited about it. I want to take us to a much higher level on the plumbing end, and also the HVAC and electrical. I mean, I'm trying to learn on both realms on that aspect. But yeah, I really want it to grow so that we can all leave something, like how you were talking about, leave something that's going to be better. We want to be bigger and better than that.
A legacy.
Yes.
And I'm so excited about the legacy of the quality that we're going to be bringing to the industry, because our whole team strives for good quality. Like, they don't want poor quality out there at all. When I've seen them now, especially on your side, Mac, with the HVAC, and your guys are like, they do not want to mess around with anything that's not right.
They do not, and when we go to homeowners, that's exactly what we explain to them. We go through safety concerns. We go through the importance of having preventative maintenance on your equipment, rather it be HVAC, plumbing, electrical. It's just the attention to detail that the guys possess that makes the core of the company as exciting as it is.
Right.
Yeah. Why? Having the right mindset, and I talk to Robbie about this all the time. So him and I try to have that owner mindset. We're not owners of a company, but we try to have that owner's mindset to where we're going, what is going to make the best decision? What's going to be the best thing next? How are we going to make sure that we're going to do the right thing? Because at the end of the day, you can just go into someone's house, provide them an ultimatum, and it doesn't work, and then you could just leave there and you do nothing. When it's a proven thing, we give options, we give solutions, and then it works out at the end. And we can all attest to that with what we've all have done in the last month. So,
Absolutely.
Yeah, when I guess the development of the guys over the last couple of years is the education of the customer. We're not out there shoving something down their throat. We educate them, then provide the options, and then it's a educational discussion afterwards. The customer doesn't feel like they're pressured into buying something. They know exactly what they're getting as far as equipment goes. It's not like, oh, well, this guy said that I need this, and that's the only thing. No, the customer knows what the specific piece of equipment does. And I'm talking about all the three trades that we have here. It's not just specifically to my division or to Mike and your division as far as plumbing goes. We educate in all three aspects of importance of knowing what we're putting in there, and the customer being comfortable with having that conversation with their guys that are out in the field, selling that to them.
right. And I, for instance, like the other day, I had a water heater job. I quoted it. The customer ended up making a decision a day later. And I really, for me, when I'm on a job and I'm talking about the product that I'm going to install, they just know it as a water heater. I need hot water, and we need to get it fixed, right? But there's a lot more when it comes down to it, as saying, is it an American-made product? How do you like that product? You're talking about Train. We push Train, when we do, We push Train because, you know why? Because we all know that it's a great product. Like for me, Bradford White, water heaters. So I know it. It's made in Michigan. It's made right here in the United States. So I really try to strive with that with my customers and telling them, hey, this is what we carry. We stand 100% behind it. It's not like the product that they have that has been bought up by a large corporation or so on and so forth that it will just eat up every other company, and then they slap a name on it, and they just mass produced, right? Mass produced. So like a company like Bradford White, they're making exactly a product that is only for heating, right? So they're going to make water heaters, they're going to make boilers, they're going to make all of that kind of stuff. Strictly heating products. They're not going to get into the realm of and dabble all different kinds of things. So that's what I try to get my customers to get on. I try to get on my level, right? And so that they know that I'm going to be putting in a solid product into their home, something that I'm going to back.
And that
We are all gonna back.
Yeah.
Right.
And then the point that you made, like you could see the passion that you had for Bradford White.
Right.
Like if I was a homeowner and you started explaining that to me, I would have very few questions because of your knowledge. The same
Right.
thing on the HVAC side. My guys know the equipment that they're putting in from the last screw that goes inside of that equipment. So they're very comfortable in explaining that to the homeowner, why Train or the importance of it. That makes the homeowner feel comfortable because we are the experts in the fields that we operate
Right.
in.
Exactly.
So,
And that's where we're going to set ourselves aside from everybody else. Instead of just going in, we're not going to be box swappers, right? That's what we see all the time, especially on the HVAC side.
We got a few comments here on Facebook. Lindsay's watching. She says hi. Thomas Wilmuth is watching. Hello from GY6 Design. How are you? Thomas says, hello guys, welcome back. Good luck tonight. Hope to see you in the future.
Hello, Father.
Jessica says, hi fam.
Oh, hey, Jess.
Hey,
Judy Wilkins is knowing, in knowing us guys, you are well on our way to being the best. Keep shining. So.
I saw her today.
And
She's
then
such a
Lindsay
sweetheart.
also made a comment, isn't it a hot water heater?
Who said that? Who said that?
Who said
Was
that?
Lindsay.
Had a girl.
Stop talking.
And Brandon
Seriously.
Cross says, what's up, lads? What's up, Brandon?
So,
Hey, maybe we clear the air on that for once and all. Water heater. Let's talk about that. Let's just get it out of there. Everybody's going to understand now at this point. Now, it's understood. Any homeowner is going to see that if this is a tank, heats water. We call it a hot water. And then they add the
You don't
word
heat hot
heater on
water.
it. But we don't heat hot water. It actually comes in cold. We heat it. It goes out hot. So it's a hot water tank or a cold water heater.
What?
And that's, yeah. That's right.
Right on cue there, Vic.
That's right. It is not a hot water
I
heater.
mean, in theory, you can heat hot water, though. You can if you're going to take it from a standard of like 120 degrees, and you need to for like a commercial application at like a commercial dishwasher.
Yeah.
Typically, those need to be hotter than 140 degrees for sanitation purposes. So you can heat hot water in theory.
Sure. Just not what we're doing.
Just not what we're doing.
That's
not
right.
what we're talking about,
So,
right?
Now we can let that go. I got that off my chest. Well, we're going to talk about pet peeves, maybe in another show. Maybe but it might be a good one. Let's bring up some pet peeves. That's mine.
Yes.
I feel better now that I got to get that off my chest. We'll save that topic for another show.
Right.
I would like to back up Keith on this as far as experts. I've seen Keith work. I've worked with Keith in the field. I've seen how he educates homeowners. And as an inspector, that is a third of our job is communicating the information that we're finding to the homeowner so that they have at least an understanding. We never expect them to remember. We don't expect them to be able to compartmentalize all the information that we're giving to them and utilize it later.
Right.
We just want to make sure that at least at the moment they understand that there are components that we're aware of and we're explaining it to them, and then they can take what they want from that. And I've seen Keith do that to where I think we were almost too much for the homeowner or the buyer at that point because we were giving them just
can be
inundating
overwhelming.
them. It's overwhelming. We were giving them so much information. But if that's the case, I think we're off on a really good start going where we want to be. You want to talk about creating a legacy. That's people remembering you. That's people saying to their new neighbor that move in, oh my gosh, we've got the greatest contractors. Yeah, we've got Expert Home Solutions. We'll give you their number. That's legacy. That's word of mouth. And if anybody's going to earn that, it is definitely you guys, because I've seen the level of not only professionalism, but when we say experts, let's not or demean that word in any way, because it is 100% who you guys are. You are experts in the field, and not to the level that you're boasting and we're better. We're not better. What you are, though, is smart. You know what you're doing, and you're constantly learning in the industry. How do we get better? How do we constantly get better as opposed to being complacent?
It's the training. I mean, like, we really strive to push for training. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, you can just send someone out there and just, like, once again, like box swapper. You're doing A, B. Do the job, simple. What is it gonna, if we were to send out one of our guys, do you think that, that they wouldn't be able to go to on an HVAC call to go, hey, I'm doing an install. Maybe they look at the ductwork or something and they notice maybe they want to add a black light or what is the special light that's in the duct? Help me understand. UV light. There you go. UV. Hey, this can help you. We have our guys that are educated, and they want to know more and provide more for our customers, instead of just being miserable and just going, okay, I got to do this job and I'm going to go home, or I'm going to go, I got 4 other jobs to do, when they know that they're going to, on this job, they're happy, they're going to get it done right, the customer's happy at the end of the day, and they are fully trained. Because that's what, the bigger picture for me is, I'd rather have a well-trained guy going in there to figure it out. Now, training
Training comes in many forms.
In many forms, and I experienced that this week. when I had to deal with that boiler.
Yeah.
Now, I went out there, I don't normally work on boilers very much. I have very minimal, and I'm learning. But I went out there and I tried to figure out what was going on with it. I went through it. Thank God it's a little bit higher tech boiler, because it's a wall mount. I was able to figure out, just look through the diagnostics on it. It gave me the readout, 18. Okay, what's an 18? So you start looking up the power of Google.
It's the power of learning how to troubleshoot.
Exactly.
If you know how the sequence of operation is, and know what you're looking for and how to troubleshoot, like where everything needs to go, you can walk up to anything and troubleshoot.
Yeah,
You've
and
never
exactly.
even seen it before.
Because you can get thrown in the gauntlet and you just go, you shut down. You don't know what to do. I've been in that situation. Being in this for 17 years, I've been in that situation, and it sucks. But once you get into it and you just go, you get in the thick of it. Like, how many times have we talk about that all the time?
Yeah.
You just go, you have the apprentice like Vasilios. He calls me, hey man, dude, I got this situation. I can't stop this water. And I'm like, I'm not there. I want to help him. I want to rescue him. But he's in that situation where he's going to go, I'm going to learn from this.
That's right.
So we have to guide him.
That's right.
Back in my day, when I was, and I mentioned it earlier,
With a pager.
with somebody else, I had the pager and
I had a pager.
Pager doing right.
and a map book. That's how I got around. If I had problems when I was in the field, I had to figure it out no matter what.
Right.
So-
I mean, back in Vic's days, he had CB radios. But,
Knock 'em back.
they still
I
work.
think
People still have
like the biggest thing is the guys that we do have out in the field, in the back of their mind, they know that they're not alone. They got Keith, they got Robbie, they got me, they got Mike. We're all willing to help out. For me and Mike, yes, we were concentrating on growing the business with Ashley, and it's day in, day out, long hours of how are we going to become the greatest company, what it all involves. But if there was a call from one of the guys, I need help, we're on it. We're going to the call. And that's the transparency and communication that we do with our guys. This is the core of the company that we have. It's not team members. It's brotherhood. It's family. And that's the way it's going to continue to go. So, the guys feel comfortable with that too, because they know that we got their backs. So that kind of eases their minds as far as, man, I don't know what I'm looking at here, but you start to figure it out and you get stuck, you could call any of the guys and they'll walk you through it. That's the awesome feeling. So,
That's the most important thing.
yeah.
Absolutely, having each other's back, for sure. So we got a few more comments here. Ray J says, we've got lots of pet peeves, I guess when we were talking about pet peeves. Thomas says the studio looks great. Ray J loves the conference table. Jessica Rose, UV lights. Change the game, guys. People start caring when we do. Brandon Cross.
That's really well said, by the way.
Yes, it is.
Yeah,
It is very well
yeah,
said,
yeah.
yes.
That's profound, actually.
Brandon Cross says new studio is fire with 3 flames. Radio jar is the radio jar is coming through your mic, Vic. Nothing's wrong with CB radios, says Thomas. And Ray J
Oh
says,
yeah, my father. Jesus.
critical thing is the awesome skills to have. So critical thinking, is an awesome skill to have. So
Vic and my father are relatively in the same age range, and
the CB radios are all right. It was actually I misspoke. It was a 2A radio, just to the base.
Because they can still broadcast from a from the bomb shelter, I think.
yes,
Is that right?
yes,
You got the bomb shelter in the
That,
backyard.
that's where he's calling from.
yeah. It's funny about my dad is he's got an old school. It's in the garage at the house in Elmwood Park, and he's got this old school like antenna, and it's just laying there in the garage. And I'm like, what are you planning on doing with this? I'm gonna set it up in Tennessee. That's what I'm gonna do. I don't want to get rid of this. This thing's still in good condition. Okay, cool. Great. That's fun. CB radios. All right, cool. Anyways,
I have the one kind of set up in my garage still.
does it work?
No, because it's too close to the power lines.
Oh, there you go then. So I guess there is a drawback when it comes down to it.
Well, what are you going to do when cell towers go out?
I don't know.
They're going to be the ones laughing
This
at
is
us.
going quickly into the conspiracy theories.
Yes.
The cell phone towers go down, and everyone's going to look up. That's all that's going to happen. They're going to look. Everyone's focused
Everyone's gonna look
downward.
up.
Everyone's going to look
theory,
up and
yeah.
go, "Hi, who are you? Hi, were you next to
Hi.
me the whole time in
Yeah,
traffic?
right?
Fantastic."
So
Brandon Cross says, no lie, CB radios are still a thing. I use the one on my bike a lot.
oh yeah, he's got a cruiser.
Yeah, well, and
You would do well with him, JT.
Yeah.
You guys should ride your the little bicycles
A
together.
little bicycle. My scooters.
You squid?
We'll stop at the Vespa dealership, pick up some matching clothes,
There
go
you
meet up
go.
with some other Vespa drivers.
Dude, I
Go
would
hit
love
the
to drive
road.
Vespa.
Go stop at the coffee
Actually,
shop.
I love Vespas, man. I travel a lot, and every time I travel, that's one of my favorite parts of the day is going to get that scooter. That's a good time.
Oh, you rent those?
I do. I love it when you travel because motorcycle, you got to gear up. You're gearing up when you get on the motorcycle. But the scooters, man, you're still in flip-flops and shorts, maybe a T-shirt. You know, I've scooted around the Big Island of Hawaii doing about 50 miles an hour on a 150 scooter, man, having a blast. I don't even think I had shoes on at all on the highway. I'm kidding. I didn't mean to get on the highway. It was a mistake. I was like, I shouldn't be here. I shouldn't be here. The locals are staring, but I didn't have to have shoes on, and that's. And if you go down to Key West, you know, Key West is a great place on Duval Street, but you might find at night the last thing you want to do is be on a big motorcycle. So you know, when you see the people, it's 95 degrees and they're getting on their Harleys and you got boots and helmets on, and you're going, oh my God, I'm sweating and I'm in a tank top. So you get on a scooter. Oh, you get on a scooter. That's where I learned. I learned this in Key West on Duval Street. You could be too drunk to walk and drive a scooter straight as an arrow. Yes, you can. I know because when I drove it straight as an arrow, and as soon as I got off, I fell.
Are you sure?
Something to be said about scooters.
Are you sure? You sure?
I did question that.
As far as he remembers.
No, I had my wife was a passenger, and she confirmed. But and I'm not endorsing that, of course, at all. I don't know what kind of show this is.
Yeah,
We're certainly not endorsing that at all.
gonna
But
get
scooters are not to be
flagged.
overlooked. Scooters are fantastic.
We don't want to get flagged on the old thing here.
Did you hear what he said?
We don't need to be doing that. So, but yeah,
Jessica says, JT, that is profound.
Oh.
Lindsay, yes, you can. Big capital letters. So,
Anyway, sorry to
So-
derail. What do you
well-
want to talk about next, Mike?
well, we've had a few comments on how beautiful the studio is. So
Let's dive into that.
because You were a huge part of helping with the studio.
Yeah, my pleasure.
JT.
I was honored to be asked.
Yeah, I couldn't ask for a better studio. Everybody, the studio is about 98% recycled.
Pretty much.
Everything is reclaimed fence wood,
That's right.
except for a few key pieces. But everything is.
Yeah, and I think we should be proud of that. I do. I like talking about it. I'm proud of it. When you first mentioned it, proposed it, I thought it was crazy.
Yeah, you really did think I was crazy.
Yeah, absolutely. We're not going to use a bunch of beat up old warped 2x4s to make stud walls. I mean, that's crazy. But then when I realized, wait, these aren't necessarily these aren't support. We're not supporting anything. They're load bearing walls. It's a studio set. Then we got into it, did the layout, and as it started to come together, you were talking about this is a family, Mac, and you're right. I got to experience that and see that how the families came together to work on it. Mike's family was here too. His dad was a cutting machine.
Yes, he was.
And we spent time. You know, Keith was gung ho every day, just go 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 go. Where's my help? Where's my help? Come on, go 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 go. So we really did quite a
Yes.
bit in a short period of time, and now we've created something here that nobody else has really done, considering you're morphing 3 different businesses
Yeah.
into one studio. And yeah, it made it out of 90% repurposed fence boards. That's fantastic. That's progress.
Absolutely. So it is a 216 studio, creator studio. So we are part of the 216 studios up in McHenry. So I'm also partners in that business. Vic is the main control here, and he also is going to be able to do other podcasts out of this studio, live bands. So keep an eye out for live bands on Saturdays that will be broadcasting. So there's a lot of voiceover work that can be done here. If somebody wants to do narration, audiobook stuff could be done. So there's a lot of fun stuff that can actually happen out of the studio now. So if you're looking to try to connect with us, try to reach out through Dream Home Experts website, and you'll be able to get Vic and myself to be able to help you with that. So.
Yeah, anybody that's watching now, what you're not getting to see is the madman behind the curtain here. And when I say that is because I'm referring to the absurd amount of equipment that is behind these cameras right now. I've been in recording studios, professional recording studios that weren't nearly this vast as far as recording equipment. So it's pretty impressive, and you should come in and see it.
Well, thank you, JT. It is a sign of a sick mind, I will admit.
The madman.
Vic the Madman. I like it.
It is definitely a massive command center back there. There are so many buttons, switches, levers. I'm afraid to hit the wrong one and explode back there.
I can't believe you keep track of all of what each thing does.
I don't think he sleeps.
Oh, well,
I really don't.
There's no way to sleep back there.
I mean, when the world ends, the only thing that's going to be left is Mick Jagger and Vic Mala. You know?
A few more comments here. Tim says, hey fellas, good to see you back. The studio looks amazing. Jess says, how can you get a hold of you guys? What are your hours? Expert Home Solutions is, what's their phone number?
Or you can use
Expert Home
815-418.
Solutions
Expert Home
is
Solutions is-
847-376-8094.
And website.
The website is www.experttoday.pro.
.pro, I love that.
Yep.
That's cool.
We have
So thanks, Jess. And
different
our
mindset.
Hours we are 24/7. So anytime, plumbing, HVAC, electrical never sleeps. So
Yeah,
it's always
anytime.
working.
Anytime.
It's impressive.
Yeah.
And I've been in this industry a long time. I don't know that I've seen that level of commitment in my own home. I think we talked about this before, guys, because you now service my property as well. And we had a situation recently with our sanitation grinder, failed finally. And, how about a little tip? A little tip for the listeners? Could we do that?
Sure, go for
All right,
it.
we'll start
Whatever
with
you
one.
want.
This first one I want to give you is your sanitation grinder. If you do have a basement bathroom, you most likely have a sanitation ejector.
Don't
So it's a
flush
pit.
baby wipes.
No, we're not. Yeah, okay, that's a good one. Actually, don't flush. That's a really good point. Don't flush big wipes. And if it says flushable wipes,
Don't flush.
don't flush those wipes. No, otherwise you will be calling the Expert Home Solutions crew. But something to keep in mind is the ejector grinder is going to fail at some point. So as some of us learn the hard way, it's best to have that replaced before it fails. You're going to replace it anyway at some point, but you can either replace it after it backs up into your basement or beforehand. So it's a great idea to have a technician like Keith come out before that happens and say, how does my ejector look? How does my sump pump look? Find out if it's a good time to get ahead of that problem. We did not do that. And of course, I was very embarrassed as a contractor when my wife told me, hey, we got a problem. We called these guys and I told Sparky, my wife, I said, man, I give Keith some time. It's Sunday. He's with his family. She goes, oh, no, I think he's pulling up. And then she sees the truck pulling up in front of the house. I'm like, I was like 20 minutes. I don't understand. Was he just sitting in the truck waiting for a call? Does he have pants on? I don't understand how this happened. It was so impressive, man. I'll never forget it.
Well, I mean, hey, we got to do what you got to do. I mean, you call. I mean, we have to. If you're willing for us to come out on a Sunday, that is the biggest thing. You know what I mean?
And you're pretty close to
and
his
you're, and you're
house, so that
close
helps.
to my house is 20 minutes from here, if that, right? So I'm 15, 20 minutes. I'm just south of here, so it's not that far. But I mean, if customers are willing to have us come out on the weekends, now there's certain circumstances, right? You know what I mean? If it's an ejector pump where, if it's only just serving a bathroom where they can go, you know what? We know it's this type of situation. We don't have to use it. We can wait until Monday. On a Sunday till a Monday. It's just only another 12 hours. We can get the plumber out first thing in the morning, so on and so forth. If it's a dire emergency, absolutely, we're going to be there.
Poop in the basement is
Poop in
always
the
a
basement.
dire amazing.
Yes and no, but I mean, you have to remember that. I mean, people can go, hey, if we may not need it, we'll be okay. So, but there are the certain circumstances. Like I said, people will have us come out, and people may want to wait, but that's perfectly fine either way. But we want to be there.
That's the level of commitment from us to the end user, to the homeowner.
Right.
They could, when we talk to them in emergency situations, it's a hectic call, right? Oh my God, there's water in my basement. It's flooding everything, so we kind of want to put their mind at ease. Hey, we're there for you. We're on our way.
And I've seen you back it up too. A lot of companies and contractors, whatever industry you're in, and people love to say that. We got your back. We got our back. We're looking out for our clients. And then often we say that that's not always the case. So it's exciting. We talked about the word exciting before. This is exciting because we're on the verge of some change in the industry. We're a part of it. We've gotten to see it. My associate inspector and I, we talk about this a lot. Things have changed over the last 10 years in this industry. Just in 10 years. Now, imagine 30 years ago, what our parents were going through when they were dealing with that. Yeah, even in 5 years, it's changed so much. And we're a part of that trend. It's no longer, I just got to go in and do my job and get paid.
Right.
Now it's a pride level. There's a pride level, and we want to make sure that these homeowners, these clients, are calling us back. How do you get them to call you back? You do an outstanding job. You make sure
call
that when
them
you
immediately.
leave, they are stoked, they're comforted, they know that they've got somebody that's got their back, whether their furnace just went out and it's the middle of January, that somebody's on the way. So I do try to tell people, this is not bargain shopping. When you bargain shop for something when it comes into these trades, you're going to get what you paid for. And sometimes budget only will provide for so much.
Yeah,
so you do what you have to.
And that's what I really try to strive to tell all of my customers when I'm coming out to that job. When I'm out there, seek to understand what's going on, and then figure out what we need to do to fix the problem. And I just tell them, even when I try to give them the most options as possible. Typically,
Options, I love that.
typical is minimum of 4 options I always try to have 4 options minimum. There's certain ones that you're going to have 2 or 3, but max typically more than 6. So I always tell them, hey, look, you may not want the most premium. You may not want the very basic. You may want the middle. But either way, all of these options are going to be able to take care of it. So you could just choose what's best for you.
Yeah, and you're right, Mike. It's the options. I think that's the key because we're all in different situations. Just because it's prudent to install a condenser unit when you replace your furnace, which, by the way, it is entirely prudent to replace your AC unit, but it's not always in the budget. All you know is that you need that furnace replaced right now. As it is, it's going to be a stretch covering that cost. Well, then that's going to happen. You're right, but at least it's an option. It fixes the problem. So those are huge.
Oh, the other thing, and me and Mike, you know, when we do our discussions and talk about the business and where it's going and the conversations with Ashley, is you never want to give a customer an ultimatum. It's either this way or the highway. Then they feel trapped. You know what I mean? They think that, oh my God, you know, is there any other option? And then that's where, well, I'm going to call this customer or this company. I'm going to call that company. And then you become the guy that, well, he didn't offer that. Well, why didn't you offer that? So we want to stay away from that, right? So in my discussions with Mike, especially, you know, I'm changing my mindset into that option world. So the customer doesn't feel like we're giving them just an ultimatum.
I've seen you guys do it recently, just when you were talking about the membership programs with Expert Home Solutions. It wasn't just well, you pay yearly. I paid mine yearly because I prefer to do that way. But then when you guys mentioned we want to give people the option to pay monthly. Well, at first I was thinking, I don't know if that's beneficial. It's just not beneficial to me. But there's so many other people that would much rather prefer that monthly, smaller payment to know that. And it's a reminder I got somebody watching my back too, which is kind of cool.
And that's the beauty of it, right? We have a team that constantly is in communication. It's not just bubbling in someone's head and then it's an ultimatum even for us. Like, well, I'm decided that I'm going to do this and that's it. No, we're in constant discussion, and it's just being part of that family. Your voice matters, your opinion matters, and then you just put it all together. And that's, I don't know, to me it's just like this excitement that it's going the way that it is, that it's kind of hard to kind of hold back, you know, like talking about it. So I know that we're going to become the company to go to here very shortly. So
And having all the trades. All trades, you just have to call one number and we can help take care of you. We have trusted partners outside of the stuff that we do not do, but we do a lot for residential and commercial.
Might even get into roofing sometime soon here. I hear there's some money to be made in roofing.
Yep.
All right, we're going to take a quick break here.
You're listening to the Dream Home Experts on 216 The Net.
All right, we're back.
It's so fancy. That was my voice.
Just a station ID there for you. So,
Anyways, one other thing too about talking about how making ourselves better and being better as a better company is talking about maintenance. I believe we touched on it a little bit earlier, but maintenance and talking about maintenance with the customers. Because if we don't want to, maintenance and having, for me at least, for like offering a maintenance program to a customer for at least getting myself into a home once a year at least, okay? They may just use this one time, right? But they have that, they pay it forward with joining our maintenance program. I at least get out to their house to see what's going on. Because I say, hey, when have you been underneath your kitchen sink? When have you been looking at your sump pump? When have you done this? Really? I didn't think about that. I don't touch those valves underneath there. Well, then there you go. Here I am. I can do it for you.
I could share a great example of
But
that.
that's going back to what JT said,
Right,
right?
exactly.
You want to get ahead of the problem.
Yeah,
What
you're
season
going
are we
to
in?
deal with
and
it
it's
anyway. You
like-
either deal with it before it's a problem or after.
And that's what we're really trying to push to. We talked about that in the meeting about maintenances and wanting to push that. And not meaning
Well,
as
it's
pushing it.
important.
It's
not really
important.
pushing it.
It's not pushing it. I mean,
being
it's
important
it's
because
that's what
it's
I'm
gonna
getting at.
Avoid some of the major issues
Correct.
on those holidays.
Well, we're
Exactly.
keeping the customer in mind.
It's
Like
not a push.
JT said it earlier. You know, he faced it himself where he should have, you know, gotten was it the pump?
Yeah, sanitary ejector.
Taking it earlier, right? What season are we going into? We're going into the cooling season on the HVAC side. When's the last time you looked at your condenser coil? Is it clean? When has it been checked?
The real question is, what's the purpose for a filter?
Stop it. So,
but that's where we're going, right?
Yeah,
you know, we had that stretch of
Right.
80 degree weather. It didn't break any records or wasn't really that hot because, you know, the night still cooled down. We got several calls. Hey, my AC is not working. So now imagine it June, 95 degrees.
Let's go.
And, you know, you have a clogged filter and it's causing airflow restriction and freezes your coil.
Yeah.
Or if you say that filters don't matter, then,
Filters-
then your air conditioning coil turns into the filter.
See?
oh man, that's some nerdy stuff, though. There's a lot of people listening right now that just have no idea what you just said, except all the contractors that are like, "That's really funny."
Unless they've had to clean it.
Unless they've had to clean it.
Yeah.
That's a
Right.
good point. On that note, though, personally, again, the maintenance program, I forgot about it personally. Mike had called me, and I noticed that when you guys call me, it's you guys calling a customer. It's not me. It's not a business associate or a friend that you're calling. You guys always speak to me like I'm the client, which is important to me because I need to know how you're treating clients when I refer you. That's super, super important to me. So I really like that. And so you'd called and said, "Hey, by the way, you know, Mr. Terry, you paid for your for a maintenance program. I think it was 2 visits a year.
Yeah.
Is that right? We'd like to send our plumbing contractor out just to do a run through, basically an inspection. Right? It's what I do, and in my home." And I'm like, "Yeah, sure, do it. I know I got some issues to address." So Vasilios comes out, and to my astonishment, after years of telling people, "Hey, there's a loose toilet bowl in every home but mine." Of course, not mine. That's all right. I always say that. Hey, every home has a loose toilet bowl except mine. Well, I was wrong. And I forgot that my basement bathroom, I haven't addressed it in a while. And sure enough, Vasilios found it. He also found a couple other things that he brought to my attention, that issues that I was already dealing with in the house. And you had found a couple recently, too. No, that immediately was taken care of. I took care of that the next morning. It was like, I was so embarrassed.
You just tightened them down, right?
No. We never tightened down a loose toilet bowl.
Why not?
Let's repeat that. We never tightened down. Where's my dad? I hope my dad's listening. Dad, that's why we've had to replace the subfloor 3 times. We never tightened down a loose toilet bowl because that seal's already been compromised. We got to replace the seal. Anyway, but I'll wrap up is that I got to see firsthand the benefit of that maintenance membership. So I've been pushing it, and in fact, the client today, you did a scope for yesterday. I did the inspection today, and when he flew in for the inspection, within a couple of minutes, I'd said, "Hey, you know, we did the scope yesterday. Didn't seem to find any problems." He goes, "Yeah, I got all the report. Talked to your guy." He goes, "He even mentioned a maintenance program." So, dude, this was already on his mind. He's buying this, $1 million plus home, and what was on his mind that he's got this maintenance program that's an option in this new town that he's moving into. Well done.
Yeah.
Yeah, speaking of inspections, like
Oh, do tell us your story, please.
Oh, yeah.
so I just bought a house not that long ago, and I had, of course, the home inspection that you have to get when you buy a house, and there's a couple other inspections, but one thing they don't require is for you to get a plumbing inspection. And I was told by somebody, Mike, probably about 3 or 4 times that I should have a plumbing inspection done on my home before I buy it. And, well, I didn't listen. And as soon as I moved in, literally 2-3 days after close and moved in, I found out that there was a massive leak in the plumbing leading out to the back house. And so now I've gone through an extensive amount of just diagnostics with Keith and trying to figure out even where the plumbing line even was. There's nothing about this house that the plumbing is good.
Yeah.
Like literally anything that it is just completely terrible. And I wish that I had that inspection done because the costs are insane. to start with. Just that alone, not to mention the time and the plans that I had completely derailed. So,
Wait till you turn your ACs on.
I know, I'm so scared.
Right.
Now, if we did the plumbing inspection and found those issues, would you have still bought the house?
Maybe, probably.
Maybe, probably.
But you would have been more prepared at that
Right,
point.
Prepared,
I would
right,
have a
right,
plan,
right. Prepare's the key.
Yeah.
And then you could
prepared.
always go, and JT, I know that when you do your inspections, especially for homeowners that are buying that house, do they have the ability then, after your inspection with the recommendations that you do, to go fight for additional credits
Of
for
course,
the house?
that's always a part of
So,
it.
I mean, it's important, right? I learned very, very similar story to Ashley when I bought my first house. Great. It was a flip house. We loved it. It was amazing. First 3 months, the crown molding around the house fell apart. Around the windows, they had it around the ceilings. First big storm, I had a waterfall in my basement. The water was coming from the top. I learned
Water feature for
That's what I was thinking too.
It's coming
Wow.
from the top.
it was coming from so the walls were plaster. When you have plaster walls, there's an air gap in
That's right.
between. The bricks, they didn't. I needed to get tuck pointing done because there was cracks. The rain was hitting it on the side so hard, it was coming in through the brick into the air gap down to the basement. You could literally take a shower.
Nice.
My wife sent me a video like, what do I do? I'm like, I don't know. I was in Menards. I'm like, I don't know.
Nice.
Get a pump.
That's
I'll
nice.
get a pump.
That's what I was thinking too.
But again, going back to having that inspection done. My second home that I bought, I dished out the money that was required for a professional inspector, and I wish I would have known you back in the day. And we got a bunch of credits, anything from the HVAC system to the plumbing, even to the electrical, even to the landscaping. So trust me. And the inspection lasted. I mean, the guy was there like, he came the first day, he was there for like 4 hours, and then the next day was there 2 hours because he wanted to make sure, just because of how many issues he found on the first day. So it is important to
It is.
get
Mac,
up.
when
To
you say
get,
landscaping, we're talking about like a negative grade to the foundation.
yeah,
yeah.
It wasn't like bushes or anything.
No,
like
but it's
that.
the smallest things really that people we're unaware of. We're not all in the industry when we buy a home, so you don't know what's going to be
don't.
problematic in the short time, and that's where the inspection is so valuable for so many reasons. But one of them is that all these issues that you guys are experiencing were not that hard to fix ahead of time, all right? Except Ashley, yours is a little bit different, although it would have been a lot less costly to do it ahead of time, obviously. If you had that plumbing inspection and Keith was able to shut off all the valves and then see that the meter was still running and go, wait a minute, hold on a second, we've got some work to do. You could have gone to the sellers and say, hey, listen, our plumbing inspector found an issue that needs to be addressed. The truth is, it would have cost them less money to address it at that point than it probably you had to do afterwards, especially if there's that problem.
And so since no one was aware of the leak and the transfer of ownership and everything, the village didn't know who to call exactly about the leak. So it took 3 days for them to figure out that I was the person to call. So I had 3 days of water leaking at over 500 gallons per hour, or for every 2 hours. So I ended up, on top of all the cost of fixing all this, I had a $1,000 water bill. My first month in.
And now you have PTSD on your
Just a
wall.
little bit. I am a little bit ridiculous about
It's,
checking the water meter.
It's a really, really messed up situation.
And honestly,
feel
I
bad.
really don't think sellers, guys, when we sell our homes, I think most people are going to be in the same boat. We really don't want to leave a problem for the new homeowner. That's a horrible thought. Maybe some people can compartmentalize that and say, well, it's their problem now. But I really think most people would be horrified to think of the new homeowner coming in and having that problem. So at this point, we do try to reach out to when somebody is selling their home, and I'll tell them, do a pre-listing inspection. Let's find these things ahead of time.
But I personally feel that it could be different because
The filters.
no, no, just because of the fact that if us as normal human beings and have actually some type of compassion for anything. If we look at it, we all know the people that are out there that will just buy and flip, and they're looking at the money aspect because of the market is allowing it. This is a precursor for the next week, so pay attention for in the next 2 weeks.
Lindsay's already been texting. Oh,
This is
we'll talk about
precursor.
it.
This is precursor in the next 2 weeks. But so that is my thing. It's just like, are they actually doing that just because it's a money? Oh, it's a value that they're going to make more money, and they're going to go. You know what? They may have the water situation. They may have not have caught that. You know, maybe the valve was off or whatever. Maybe it wasn't leaking at that point. It could have popped, frozen popped. But how it's laid out, right? So that's a little bit more. But me as thinking, I would go, I don't really think you're trying to really think about that and trying to be cool. You're trying to do it right. You're not really doing it. You're looking at the money aspect. And personally in my end. But that can turn into a whole different conversation. But yeah.
Yeah, I do find though that when those flips happen, yes, we're still going to have some contractors that maybe they're not.
Getting a permit. Getting
Well,
inspections.
certainly not getting permits and inspections, and they may overlook a few things. That is, they're going to say, "I've got this much money. I want to do these things." Generally, it's going to be the interior, and I'm sure when you guys talk to Lindsay, she's going to probably tell you the same thing. When flippers go in, they're just kind of looking at what's going to be on camera, what's going to go in the MLS photos, kitchens, bathrooms, flooring, walls. So they are going to miss some important things on the exterior. But when I guess what I'm referring to is when it's our homes. In general, my parents, my friends, my neighbors, when they go to sell, if I were to tell them of all these horrible things that can happen to the new homeowner in that house, I think they'd be horrified. So unfortunately, we just don't really think about that. But if we take a moment to think about that, I might have some issues with my plumbing and I got to sell. Do I want the new homeowner to have to deal with that? And then there's, of course, legal aspects involved. But aside of that, there's just ethical. And if you can go with the ethical question to yourself is, do I want to leave a mess for this next homeowner, or do I want to really set this up so that this next homeowner enjoys this home as much as I did?
Doesn't mean that you have to fix it to the extent where how I would envision it.
Don't even
or
need to
what
fix it, Keith. You just need to find it. We just need to find it.
Totally understand, but I mean, if it's a health and safety issue, if we find a vent in a wall that is routed away,
yeah.
makes sense, right?
Yep.
And we find it after doing some type of test, and then you just go, the inspector's not going to see it, right?
Yeah.
We know it's there, right? But I mean, see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's like,
Well, to tell you about that, when I was buying the house that we're in right now, I missed it. My home inspector didn't miss it. My water heater, flue piping, was duct tape.
nice.
That's it? It was just duct tape?
It was just duct tape. I wasn't paying attention to the water
no metal
heater. I was
tape, no
looking at the
nothing.
furnace. The whole flue going to the pipe going up through the
To the
roof.
penetration of the roof, yeah.
That whole section before that elbow was duct tape. And then my inspector points it out. I'm like, they probably just taped the pipe or something. Like grabbed it and
No.
It just falls
so
apart.
fell apart.
Disintegrates.
And I'm
Turns into
like,
powder.
This had duct tape doesn't turn into powder overnight. That had to be there
That's
for
probably there for
years.
40 years.
No, the heat of that, it could even happen in a year if you have that much heat on duct tape.
Yeah, I'll tell you right now, if MacGyver ever had to fix ductwork, he'd be at a loss. Because it's the one thing we cannot use duct tape on is ductwork.
Yeah.
Why do they call it that?
Because it's duck.
It's actually duct.
Not
Yeah,
duct.
duct tape. It's duct tape.
Well, it doesn't quack either.
No, it don't, but that's this mascot. It's a duck.
Foil tape for any duct work.
That's right.
Yep. So, we got a few more comments here. Where would we start? Lindsay's saying that not in this market most of the time, but we'll talk about that next show.
Yes.
When your wife was talking about, when you were talking about the waterfall, she commented in, and then Lindsay said HGTV devil houses.
Yeah.
That's a good one. So, that's about all for our show, I think, right?
Yeah, it's been a fast
something?
hour.
I've got one more tip.
You got one more tip?
Yeah, it's spring. It's spring.
Just the tip, okay?
Just the tip, man. Something to keep in mind. It is spring, and we're enjoying all this beautiful fresh weather, even though it's 30 degrees one day and 80 the next. It's still imperative that we open the windows. There's two reasons. One is a lot of us have vinyl windows, and wood for the same reason. They have to be exercised twice a year. As the temperature changes, the ambient temperature, it affects wood and vinyl sashes and casements. and it's important that we open and close them. So just go open and close your windows, and it's going to give you an opportunity to find out if one of them is loose. That's dangerous. That's a safety hazard. It's fixable, but you want to know about it before somebody gets hurt. So go open the windows, open all of them, exercise all those windows. It's an opportunity to obviously pull the screens out, wash out, clean out the screens, but also the best way to get rid of pathogens in your home. A healthy home is one that's pathogen-free, or at least close to pathogen-free, and it's certainly fresh air. And there's no way around it. If we're just recirculating through forced air systems, it's not enough. It's not enough. That provides heat and cooling air, but it's not necessarily fresh, clean air. It's not getting rid of pathogens unless you have UV bulbs, of course, running everywhere. So that's my tip for the spring, is get those windows open, get that fresh air in the house. Try to open the windows on opposite ends in the house as long as you possibly can, and get all those pathogens out of there.
Quite cool.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. To your tip,
Quite cool.
call us to install a Quiet Cool
And
whole house
we
fan.
should talk about
How
that
do we
sometime.
get a hold of us?
847-376-8094.
And
Experttoday.pro.
awesome. Yes, on either of them, you can call or text us. So if you
Yes.
just want to make your appointment, you can schedule it right online and not even have to talk to a person. So, thank you for joining us for the first episode of season 5. We'll see you next week in 2 weeks. Thanks.
2 weeks. Bye.
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 The content of this show is for educational and informational purposes only and is a generalization common DIY projects. Each home project may encounter unforeseen issues with specific circumstances that may not be covered in discussion of this program. This program makes no representations as to the completeness of the information and expressly disclaims any implied warranties as to the fitness of the information to any particular purpose. Before starting any projects, it is recommended the homeowner research the skills and proper materials necessary, as well as any and all local requirements for permits. If there is any doubt, it is advised that a licensed contractor be consulted prior to commencing your particular project.